I know I haven't really been making videos. It's been at least a month. And the only reason I know that it's been a month is because September the 8th, I was in a car accident. And I suffered a broken femur. Simple as that. I still did not have an official capacity to be able to walk. In fact, this is my walking vessel. That's the only way I can walk. Is using a walker. I know, grown man, 32 years old, and I have to use a walker to get around. It really sucks. I'm not sure how much detail I can go into because I do have a lawyer and I'm trying to, um, get some sort of settlement or whatever. Um, I was driving on a road, approaching a corner, and the other driver, the 17, 18-year-old kid driving a vehicle that was not his own, proceeded to enter my lane. I drive the back roads all the time. It's no big thing for me. I'm used to it. Like I've been driving a really long time. Um, we'll just state that. But so when he comes around the corner and like I said, he started to get in my lane, and I don't freak out. A lot of people would. They just, oh shoot, It happens all the time. People come around corners, blind corners, whatever, and people are in your lane. So I don't freak out because that's the worst thing you should do. You just be mindful and try to, maneuver yourself around the situation. When it got to a point where he's approaching closer and closer, and like I said, he's getting further and further in my lane. By this point, he's so far on my shoulder of the road, and still approaching me. We're both going. I don't know how fast he was going, but I was going 55, 60, which, speed limit's 55. And I realize he's not moving. So I put myself in his lane, the left lane, to go around him. And I've got my daughter in the back seat. Now, I don't know whether it was the movement from my car or whether I assume that this young man was on his cell phone. That's the only thing that would make sense. In fact, in the police report, it states that he looked down at the accelerator pedal. Who looks at the gas pedal when they're driving? Granted, inexperienced driver, him, 17, 18 years old. That still, to me, does not excuse looking at a gas pedal. You don't do that when you're driving. And there were some bystanders that had been talking to the gentleman after the fact, because as far as I know, he sustained no injuries. But they had asked him what happened, and he just kept saying, I don't know. Yeah, you do. You were on your phone, and you hit me. I mean, it's that simple. Yeah, you don't know what happened because you weren't paying attention. That's what it was. Anyways, I put myself in his lane, and I don't know whether the movement or he looked up and noticed he's not in the right lane or whatever, and he jerks his wheel to the right, which he even states that in the police report. I cut my wheel to the right to miss him, is what he stated in regards to me. That put his vehicle directly into my passenger side, which I had shared photos of the vehicle a couple weeks ago or whatever. And the damage is pretty clear. You hit my passenger side, right? He cut from my lane, I'm in his lane now, trying to go around him so that we don't have impact. When I seen him cut his wheel and the vehicle faced directly at me, I knew I had two options. I could either slam on the brakes, because there's a ditch on my left side. I could either slam on the brakes or I could gas it. Now, like I said, I had my daughter in the back seat, and I knew that if I slammed on the gas pedal and I didn't clear his vehicle, And this is a 2001 Mustang. His. I mean, not his, but, you know, what he's driving. I knew if I didn't clear his vehicle, he would make contact with the rear passenger of my vehicle, which is where my daughter was at. So I slammed on the brakes, and we made impact. Totaled my car. I'm pretty sure the Mustang's totaled too. Both of them ended up in the same scrapyard. Like I said, I'm currently disabled. Can't walk without a walker. I have no idea when I'll be able to walk again. Definitely the worst pain I've ever felt in my life, having a broken femur. It sucks. It sucks. As a lot of people know, you know, we just had our son Ephraim, and we've still got, you know, my daughter Israel, which she is fine. All she sustained during the accident was a busted lip. That's it. Praise Yah for that, right? But I'm not mobile enough to be able to run around with them and all that, and it really sucks. My wife's having to, you know, take up a lot of the slack. It's stressful. It sucks. Obviously, it could have been worse. Definitely could have been worse. But, anyways, that's basically the story. That's the gist. And we've got, you know, the Give, Send, Go, GoFundMe, whatever, Cash App and all that stuff. And we've shared it, you know, a few times because obviously I can't work. I was the sole provider for our household, and I'm not able to do that. But we've shared those things, and we're appreciative to the people that have donated, and we're appreciative for the people that haven't yet who will, because I know that there's going to be people that will, because Yah has provided for us through this entire endeavor, and I'm thankful for that, thankful for His provision. But I just wanted to talk about that and kind of explain my situation, or our situation. Thank you guys. May y'all be blessed. And for those celebrating Sukkot right now, which we are, still celebrating Sukkot, still taking my cripple butt in and out of this tent. Bless y'all, and may you be blessed for keeping His commands. Happy Sukkot, y'all. Shalom.